KZ106, it is happy hour on a Friday. The magic that goes on behind the scenes as we get ready for it, we'll leave behind the scenes. But Greg here, Kelly there, as we get ready for a big weekend. And I don't know about your plans, Kelly, but I know I'm going to be at Riverfront Nights tomorrow night with a lot of great music starting at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's the final one for the season, but they're taking it out in style. They've got 3 bands instead of the normal 2, so
Yep.
you're going to get 3 times the music, and it's going to be awesome. Of course, it still gets started at 7 o'clock, absolutely free. I was looking on their Facebook page earlier today, and they have got a slew of food trucks that are going to be down there, and of course, drink vendors as well. So you can come down. You can bring a cooler to Riverfront Nights if you so desire. You can bring your dogs to Riverfront Nights. You can bring yourself. Of course, they've kind of, done the pod thing for the past couple of weeks just because of the upswing in the Delta variant COVID. So not quite as open as it has been here in the past few weeks, but still plenty of room. I mean, it's a big space, folks, but you'll get your own little pod and you can go and you can enjoy some free live music. And weather looks like it's going to be great. It'll be warm, but there's a breeze off the river. So, you can go down and enjoy some free live music.
I would say I've been to about half of them this year, and it's just something about being out with your friends and the people around you, and having grabbing some food from the food truck and enjoying a cold beverage of your choice, and sometimes dancing around and singing along. It's just a great time. So tonight or tomorrow night, it's going to be a good time as we wrap up the series. With those 3 shows, masking is suggested, and the pods will be available. So plenty of ways, and extra sanitation stations will be available as well.
Yes.
So KZ106.com if you need to learn more about that. We'll have all the details for you. The sad news: 2021 has just been brutal when it comes to the music community, and this one I think we did kind of see coming, but when we got that news about Charlie Watts passing from the Rolling Stones, still hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, we knew he was in bad health. We knew he had some issues. They weren't really public about what those issues were. But, we knew he was not going to be on the tour for this year. That was a given. They had already announced that. So we were thinking, okay, well, then he's going to take some time off and get home and recuperate and come back strong. And then I don't know, maybe I just missed the memo or something, but for me, it was just out of the blue. I was at home and just happened to be scrolling on Twitter and saw the news break, and I was like, no. And then I checked it like with 4 different sources, and I was like, holy crap, it's true.
Yeah, I saw that about an hour after the news broke. And the thing that always amazed me about Charlie Watts was, I mean, one of the things was, he didn't come through as a rock drummer. He was a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
And he initially turned down Mick and Keith. He's like, no, I don't want to be your drummer. And then he thought about, maybe it was just, this looks like a steady gig. So, he wasn't the long-haired, bashing on the drums kind of guy. But the other thing is, if you kind of compare him to somebody like Neil Peart, who had 7,000 pieces of equipment around him. To me, it seems like Charlie Watts had one of the simplest drum kits.
Oh yeah, he was a pocket drummer. Yeah,
and got amazing sounds out of it, especially when you saw him live.
And if you look up the word dapper in the dictionary, there's his picture right next to it. One of my favorite stories that I actually read in Keith Richards' book was one of the times they were on tour, and Keith and Mick were in Mick's hotel room, and maybe, having a cold one or 17. Yeah, right.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden, Mick gets the wild idea, and it's like, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, I want to talk to Charlie. And so Keith's like, I don't know that I'd call him right now. And Mick's like, and so he picks up the phone and he's like, where's my drummer? And Charlie just hangs up the phone, and, he's asleep because it's the middle of the night. And so he gets up. He gets dressed. I mean, fully dressed, suit, press suit, tie, newly shined shoes, a little cologne, combs his hair. He walks downstairs, goes to the hotel room, knocks on the door. Keith answers it and he said that Charlie just walked right past him, didn't even look at him, walked over to Mick and grabbed him by the lapels and said, I am not your drummer. You are my singer. And then he punched him and then turned around and walked back and went back and hung up his suit and his shirt and his shoes and crawled back in bed and went back to sleep.
I wonder what the proper tie is for punching your singer. You
You know what?
go with a basic color, maybe something with a pattern.
I'm just saying, if there is one, he had it. Because that man dressed to the nines all the time. I know I got to see him, or got to see them actually on the Steel Wheels tour, and we had pretty good seats. And when you're seeing a Stone show, obviously your eye is drawn to Mick Jagger because he's up there, parading around like a rooster on acid, and just, kind of making the true show. And then you got to look over at Keith, who's just being Keith. But if you could raise your eyes a little bit and concentrate on Charlie Watts for a few minutes, I mean, here's the man. I mean, open air amphitheater. Summer in the South, it's, hot and humid. And here he is in a three-piece suit. And if he was sweating, I couldn't tell it. He just never missed a beat. Never missed a beat. And if you look at all the accolades that have been coming in from all the rock bands and especially the drummers for all the rock bands, that man had respect that very few did or will.
Yeah. Well, longevity doesn't earn you respect. Talent does. And we saw that come through in the past couple of days where everybody was like, he is in the upper echelon of guys at the drum kit.
Absolutely. Yeah. A huge loss. The Stones are going to go on. They're kind of like ZZ Top without Dusty. They're going to continue, and at least get this tour out of the way. Whether there will be subsequent tours after this, still a question mark. But if you have never seen the Stones and it's a bucket list thing, it's going to be an incredible show, no matter who's behind the kit. But it just won't quite be as special.
This is true. Speaking of another band that seemingly is going on forever, although they say that the end is coming, is Kiss. Show scheduled for this Sunday in Atlanta, kind of up in the air. We're not quite sure yet. Paul Stanley announced tested positive for COVID, so they did have to postpone a couple of shows. So Sunday in Atlanta. Last you heard officially, it's still on?
They have not made an official decision. We heard from the promoter a couple hours ago and said, yes, we're getting all kinds of questions too. They have not made an official decision yet, but they will let us know as soon as they do. And of course, as soon as we hear, we will pass it along on our social media. Here's the deal. If you want to get the info if you'll the horse's mouth, follow Live Nation or Solaris Amphitheater at Lakewood on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, because that's where the show is going to be held, and they will post that to their socials just as soon as a decision is made. But honestly, it's a big question mark right now whether that's going to happen on Sunday. If it does happen, I'm sure it will be like Skinner when Ricky Medlock, was diagnosed. He's back with the band now, so he's back on tour, but they had to cancel a few dates and of course reschedule their Atlanta date to October 23rd. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But as soon as we hear any official word, we will definitely let you know. So obviously you're following us on Facebook. So keep tuned to that this weekend, and we will let you know just as soon as we hear anything officially.
Yeah, the show will go on. It's a question of when. So, hold on to the ticket because you will get to see the show if you got that ticket. Big week next week as we find. I was just saying this. It's hot and it doesn't feel like football weather, but the calendar says it's football time, which means I'm wearing my orange today.
There you go.
Volunteers getting ready to kick off. It's going to be a Thursday night game. So the schedule is a little weird, but things are going to happen next week with ball calls and the opening game.
Yeah, Vol Calls normally airs Wednesday nights at 8. Because the game is a Thursday night game this week, we have moved it up for this week only, and Vol Calls will air Monday night at 8. So we'll dunk out of Steve Gorman Rocks for an hour and get to Vol Calls, and that way the coach can be a part of Vol Calls with Bob Kessling. And then, of course, the game itself, pregame starts Thursday at 6:30. Pro tip for you if you are going up for the game, because I was listening to Vol calls last week, and something that they made mention of that honestly hadn't occurred to me. Classes are in up in Knoxville right now, and this is a Thursday game, and so there are going to be classes Thursday for the students. So if you're going up and expecting to find your normal parking place or your super hidden spot that only you know about, there's a good chance that that's going to be taken by a student or a faculty member. So keep that in mind if you're headed up for the game, because parking might be a little bit of a challenge. So you might want to give yourself a little extra time. But yeah, it'll be good to get some football back here in Tennessee as they are taking on Bowling Green, and they're starting their season with 3 home games. So bonus for the next 3 weeks. And of course, we've got tickets for all of those, and we've got another final pair for Thursday night that we're going to give away on Tuesday. We're going to be doing a special texting Tuesday for those Vols tickets. So listen for details on that. We'll unleash all that information coming up on Monday, and then you can text in on Tuesday for a last minute shot to win tickets to go up to Knoxville and see the Big Orange play. We've been doing Free Ticket Friday all day today, and I've been talking to all my qualifiers all day today, and man, everybody's ready. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's ready.
New coach, you're always hopeful at the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading, I forget the website, so don't slam me for not citing a source, but they were making a bold prediction for each team in the SEC, and the one that caught my eye for Tennessee was Tennessee will have the second best offense in the SEC East.
Okay.
So we'll see a couple of games in, but if you're looking for some sort of hope, you can go with that and see if we can get some wins on the board.
That would be nice. Yes. So let's hopefully start off on a winning record and see how it goes from there. But again, Bowling Green on Thursday night, pregame 6:30. You, of course, will hear every play of every game all season long on your home of the Vols here in Chattanooga, KZ106.
Going to be a big weekend. Riverfront Nights tomorrow night, 3 bands wrapping up the series. Don't forget Scott Chase, who could not join us this time around. It's going to be at Don Ledford Automotive in Cleveland, 11 until 1. Great deals on cars and maybe a chance to do some winning.
More tickets.
Yeah.
Yes.
So come by and see Scott tomorrow, 11 to 1, Don Ledford in Cleveland, and Tennessee football next week.
Absolutely. It's football time in Tennessee.
Yes, it is. So that will get us into the weekend. Kelly, you have a great weekend, and I will try to do the same.
All right. See you guys. Stay safe.